and welcome. I hope you can see me. I don't know how the lights looking tonight or today, but welcome to Heavy Tea Cooking. We're going to cook up something awesome today. You see the lid behind me on the Assassin grill and smoker? It is open. I've got charcoal laid out because we're going to start getting it fired up here, and then we're going to start working on this tri-tip roast. Yes, I'm cooking a tri-tip tonight for dinner tonight. I'm also cooking a little bit of sausage. I went up to Strickland's General Store up in Perry, Georgia. That's Strickland's. They got locations down in Perry, Cordele, and somewhere else too. These are good folks. They make great. They produce great meats out of their stores there. First thing I'm going to do is glove up. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there's a Facebook page and an Instagram page for Heavy Tea Cooking. And somebody was fussing at me on my Facebook page about not wearing gloves. So you know what? I'm wearing gloves now. You're welcome. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up this onion here. I'm going to pop this in half. Get rid of this outer skin layer, and I'm going to plop them up here and julienne these guys. While I'm doing that, I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to do with this tri-tip. I'm going to kind of do a dry rub on it, very similar to what you would do on a pork butt or a tenderloin. Upcoming video, I'm kind of going to film some of it along with this one. Tenderloin. I'm going to cook a pork tenderloin, a whole pork tenderloin. Alright, so I'm just going to julienne this here onion, cut it up good. I know this is not exactly the most exciting. If you don't know how to julienne an onion, go YouTube that. There's a lot of good videos on how to do it. All I'm doing is following the kind of the curvature of the onion and controlling that onion so it that's a little thick, so let's go ahead and split that one more time. Alright, we'll take that and scrape it off. Alright, this is going to provide us a base to set this on, so as the fat renders down, it makes an onion au jus. Alright, and that's going to be important to what it's going to be important to the whole cooking process of this tri-tip. Because again, we're going to cook it low and kind of slow on the Assassin grill. I'm going to show you how I set up my Assassin grill too for this particular cook. And then once it's cooked to a point where it will be like rare, I'm going to show you how to slice the tri-tip into steaks, into serving size steaks. This is a small tri-tip. So I got some accompanying meat. I got some of that sausage to go with it. I'm going to set that to the side and open up this beautiful tri-tip. Like I said, this is a little small. It's come off a small cow. But this is pretty simple and straightforward. Let me wrap that up. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my boning knife. If you don't have a good boning knife, this is the Bass Pro Shops XPS type. There's a couple other types you'll see me use. This just happens to be what I grabbed first. It's not necessarily my favorite, but it's what I have that's clean and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this fat cap right here, and I'm going to slice off some of this fat. It's a little hard, and it's not really going to render at the temperatures that we're going to cook this thing at. We're going to leave a little bit on there, but not like you would think. I'm probably going to feed this to the dog. Some things I'm going to tell you about the tri-tip. There's a lot of things you'll see on the Book of Faces and on the YouTubes about how and why you should slice or cut this the way you should cut it. We're going to talk about that in depth. But when you get your tri-tip to this point, remember that your tissue on your meat that you're gonna use, it's a muscle. It's a lot of people don't like to talk about it like that. You get this little piece of fat off right here. It's a muscle, and where the muscle attaches, in this case here, and here, to bone, ligament, tendons, whatever, that's the way the grain is going to run. So you see the grain is going to run this way, just like a fan almost. And that kind of tells you how you got to cut this, because when you're cutting this, you got to cut it across the grain. That way, when you bite into it, you're not biting this long piece of chewy, stringy meat. And that's important when you're dealing with this kind of thing. All right, so first things first, our spices. Rosemary. Rosemary is going to help that au jus, and it's going to infuse this flavor. This piece of meat is going to take flavor really well. We're going to use Lawry's seasoning salt, a little bit of oregano, and some cayenne pepper. And I'm also going to use a little bit of adobo with black pepper. You don't have to add more black pepper, because this type of adobo actually already has black pepper in it, and it smells amazing. I've never been a big proponent of using adobo, but for this particular cook, I love it. All right. So first we need to start with a little bit of oil, and I'm going to use a little bit of peanut oil just to drizzle. This is kind of get the spices to help stick to it more than anything else. And by the way, this is almost room temperature. I want it almost room temperature so it can cook. That way the heat doesn't have to heat it up. I'm going to go ahead and grease this up on both sides. Get that oil in there real good. I like to use peanut oil, especially anytime I'm using beef or chicken. Peanut oil is kind of the way to go most of the time, with different species of fish too. All right, so we're going to start with my adobo. Remember, wet hand, dry hand. That's kind of how we're going to do it here. Sprinkle that adobo on, pat it down. I'm going to come over with a little bit of cayenne. We're not going to be too liberal with the cayenne, because remember, this takes spices really well. So here we go. I should have opened all these first, I guess. A little bit of oregano. Again, takes spices really well. Takes flavors really, really well. Next is going to be some Lawry's. Yes, I'm going to go a little heavier with the Lawry's. It's going to help, that salt in there is going to help pull moisture, but at the same time lock moisture. Now, rosemary. Rosemary. And you see me, I'm not rubbing this. I'm just patting it. Just patting it. Getting the stick. They called it a rub, but it's not really a rub. It's you kind of pat it on there, like that right there. Get it all the way around. There we go. All right, now for the flip. All right, we got that done. Hit it with that rosemary again. Go ahead and hit it with that, because that's what's in my hand. There's no particular order to the spices. Just make sure, and you can spice this any way you want to. If you want to spice this up with some tequila lime stuff, or you want to spice it up with heavier amounts of adobo, or you want to spice it up with garlic and onions, or garlic and black pepper, that's fine. You do you. It don't matter to us. It don't matter to me. Do what you want to do. And woo, that's a little much on the cayenne. Woo. Yeah, that's a little much. Wipe that off. Throw that off there. There we go. Hey, real life doesn't, stop. All right, so I'm gonna move this over to my pan. That's my pan right there. And what I am gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the grill. I'm pretty much done with that at the moment. I'm gonna put up all my spices, and I'm gonna get this fire going. So stay with me. Don't go nowhere. I'll let you watch the boring stuff here, and I'm gonna move my camera over here so you can see how I'm gonna build this fire. There's nothing really spectacular about it. It's just charcoal, a little bit of lighter fluid, and spark of heat. Speaking of, I got that light. I got a cigarette lighter. That'll work. All right. So see, I got. I'll hold it all out. What? I'm holding it with my mouth. Oh, I'm just gonna throw a little bit of lighter fluid on here, just enough to get it good and fiery, and I'm gonna light it like right away. I ain't gonna wait on it. I'm gonna go ahead and gotta open that back up. Well, whoop, boop, 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 boop. There we go. All right, now we got a fire going. Set this charcoal starter right there on top of it, and it's going to smoke up and get ready, and it's going to roll. Now, while this is firing up and getting good and hot, I will go take care of everything else I need to take care of, cleaning off my workstation and all that stuff, and I'll come back to you. All right, Heavy T back. You can see we're pouring smoke in here. We're really pouring smoke. All right, something I didn't tell y'all a while ago. This right here, this third handle, this is our ash pan. This is our coal pan, which is where our heat comes from. This here is another pan. It's just a square, solid pan. It has water in it. And what happens is that water is not there to produce steam, even though that's essentially what it does. What it is there for is to regulate temperature. This won't let the interior box, no matter how hot I get this fire, get above about 220 degrees. Water boils off at 210. Well, guess what? All that's going to be up in here, and it's going to create, mixed with the smoke, it creates some awesome goodness. I'm going to move that out a little bit. Get my fire gloves, even though they're not really needed. I am a little bit extra cautious when it comes to dealing with things that are on fire. They can be a little bit on the dangerous side. So what I'm going to do is I got a little bit going right there. This right here is enough in this assassin grill to cook for about 4 hours. 2.5 to 4 hours. And yeah, you see me just running that coals with that bare glove. Just shove them in there with the ash pan. Give you guys out a little bit extra heat. Alrighty. Alright, and I got that big old piece of meat right there, that big old tri-tip right there, just gonna smoke out. I've got these opened about halfway, and this opened about a third of the way. That's it. Alright, stay with me. We'll check in a little while. We'll be back. Alright, Heavy T's back. And I've taken my camera over here and focused it on my thermometer on my grill, on the Assassin smoker grill. Alright, so if you see, I'm boiling right at 180 degrees. That's where I want to keep it with this beef for a little while. I want an internal temperature on the beef. I want that internal temperature to be about 130 degrees. So running it at about 180 is going to keep it from diving into the meat too fast. This is what I want. I bought this really cool internal wireless thermometer thing with the meat probe and all from the Walmart, but it doesn't work. So we're just going to have to manually check it every about 30 minutes or so. We'll start at an hour, and then we'll check it, and then an hour and a half we'll check it, and we'll see if we're at that magic number. We want to be there between 110 and 130 because that's where beef really flavor starts shining through. And we'll pull it then, we'll sear the whole thing over here on the Blackstone, and then we'll slice off into steaks and sear individual steaks and add butter and cool other stuff. Alright, so stay with us. Talking about the tri-tip, let me get a glove on here. Keep my gloves out. Alright, let's look at this beautiful tri-tip. I'm going to pull it out, pull it all the way out. You can see there's a little bit of juice in the bottom, that's good. Move my beer over, we'll talk about the beer for the cook in a minute. Alright, so I'm going to pull out my meat probe thermometer, my InstaRead thermometer. It is a brisk 49 degrees outside. So I'm going to go ahead and probe this in here to this thick part of the meat, and it says 130 degrees. So that's where I want it for a rare piece. So I'm going to leave it right there. I put the sausage on already. It's sitting up there smoking. It's probably getting about close to done. I want that at about 170. So chill out, stay with me. We're going to move this big old hunk of tri-tip meat over here to the griddle. I'm going to get the griddle fired up. We're going to get a big sear on the outside of it, and then we're going to slice it up. And we're going to move around that au jus in there a little bit. All right, so Heavy T's back. Oh, that's bright. Woo! This has been resting for about 10 minutes. And you need to let it rest. Don't push it. It's going to help that that flavor marriage of all the things. Let me go ahead and get my griddle uncovered here because this is the inner of this. If you don't already have a Blackstone, you need a Blackstone. If not a Blackstone, some other type of comparable griddle. If you ain't got one, look in the description down below. I've got links to a couple on my Amazon store, and if you're not going to Walmart or Sam's or wherever to buy your Blackstone, buy it off Amazon. They're cheap, and you can use my links below to help me out a lot. All right, so I'm going to take some paper towels because if you remember we put whole rosemary on here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off here and take this paper towel and just basically clean this meat off with a paper towel. Yep, that's right, just getting all that rosemary off. Rosemary is not something you want to just eat directly. It's more of a flavor enhancer. This meat is feeling beautiful. It smells great. It's very aromatic. If you don't get them all off, that's fine. But you don't want a crap ton of them on there. Biting into rosemary is like this is not exactly appealing to the palate. So once we've got most of that all there, and all I'm doing, I'm just knocking it off. You can run this under the sink. Take it to the sink and run it under there. It's fine. You're not going to wash off the seasoning. This meat has already taken the seasoning and the smoke that it's going to take. Really, if you see though, we haven't broken the meat down. It's not falling apart in my hand. That's because it's only about 130, 140 degrees now at the most. This is going to be a good piece of meat. It's not going to sit there and drip blood, which a lot of people don't like. I'm just set this back down and fire up my griddle. Fire up that Blackstone. I'm going to put it on high. I'm going to put 2 burners wide open here. I'll go ahead and do 3 burners wide open. Get it good and hot. And go ahead and throw some of my favorite oil down. That's what's Heavy T's favorite oil? Peanut oil! I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to wrap this up and throw it away because this is done. Don't need that no more. Alright, while we're waiting on the griddle to get good and hot, which ain't going to take but a minute or two, wipe my workstation back down here. Get some of the other stuff off. Alright, so beer for the cook. That's right, we're looking at Victory Brewing Company. This is out of, I think it's Downingtown, Pennsylvania. It's not exactly a local brew in the middle of Georgia, but this stuff is good, and I didn't want to skip telling y'all about this. Victory Brewing Company. This is the Sour Monkey. It's a sour triple. It's a sour beer with a lot of fruit notes to it. It has a lot of fruit notes to it, and those fruit notes are awesome. You got to try it. It's just, I've already gotten into it. I'm about 2 of these down already, working on number 3. So if you got this stuff, if it's available for you in the area, try it. It's good. And it's got this sour flavor up front, but it's not overpowering. If you are a fan of Crybabies or Sour Patch Kids or stuff like that, this is going to be a good beer to try. Alright, let's get this thing good and hot. It's starting to feel good and warm. I'm going to break out a spatula. I'm going to break out my big burger spatula. My big hamburger spatula. This is a pretty sizable piece of meat. This is 2 pounds at the butcher. For the au jus, there's not going to be much au jus, but I am going to finish reducing these onions in the pan. And that's going to be kind of a garnish. So you know on that one. We're getting there. We're almost there. We're getting hot. While we're talking, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the dislike button twice if you didn't like the video. I don't mind. I understand. Comment down below if you got something you want to cook. You got something you want to see Heavy T cook. Go ahead and tell me about it. I'm going to put my butter right here. I'm going to need butter for this too. Somebody told me, it says, I can't believe Heavy T lost all that weight last year. Now he's putting butter on everything. Yes, I am. Why? Because life's too short. And if you're not eating to where it tastes good, what's the point? Stay with me. As soon as this griddle gets hot, we'll be back. And we'll be cooking on that griddle. Alright, glad you stayed with me. Butter's starting to loosen up a little bit. I ran in the house and grabbed a stick. Now we're going to take this beautiful piece of tri-tip right here. You see it dripping. It's still good stuff. Popping a few more pieces of that rosemary off of it. Again, that rosemary is not good. It's not good feeling in the mouth. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this and sit right there on that hot spot. You can hear it sizzle. You can hear it sizzle. And that's what you want. You want to create a good sear on it. I'm going to hold it down with the giant Blackstone Signature Series hamburger flipper spatula. And while that's down there, I'm going to take this stick butter. It's been sitting on the counter. It's room temp, and so it's softened. And I'll show you the best way to do it. It's just right off the. This is unsalted butter, by the way. Unsalted butter. There's a handful of things I buy in bulk: bacon, butter, and beer. So 3 B's: bacon, butter, and beer. Makes everything better. I know we're kind of doing a reverse sear on this. Sort of. This is kind of my way of doing it. I'm gonna throw a little butter down here on the griddle top too. You gotta be careful with that because it'll burn quick. Butter will burn. Alright, that's starting to loosen up and liquefy over there. Alright, that should be enough. Yes, got a little caramelization there. That's what I want to see. Oh, we don't want to overcook this because we're going to cook this again here in just a moment. First thing I got to do is I got to show you how to slice the tri-tip and how to cut it so it's tender and awesome in the mouth. Where's my towel? There's my towel. Dry my gloves off. I ain't got too many gloves. I'm running out. I got to be careful about using too many. Alright, take another sip of this sour monkey. This sour triple from the Victory Brewing Company. Yeah, that's some good stuff, man. Woo! I don't know how good it's going to pair with beef, but hey. Alright, so melted butter. Same as using stick butter. This is a different way of doing it. Dump a little on there. And while this griddle's hot, see these onions right here? I'm going to throw them in there. We're going to create a little au jus with a little bit of butter, a little bit of melted butter. Bloop, 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 bloop. Drop that in there. That's going to be some good stuff. It's almost like it's going to be like a dipping sauce for the steak. If you don't really need a dipping sauce for it, but because it's that good. I'm done with the instant read for this cook. It's also back in the drawer on the Yukon workbench here. By the way, I know I didn't do a February equipment update. This right here I picked up at Harbor Freight. I got it on clearance. It was on a scratch and dent clearance. I'm going to pull a link. I know you can get the same tool system. It's like a tool storage system on Amazon. It's a little on the expensive side, but it is worth every nickel as an addition to your outdoor kitchen. If you've got a grill, if you've got a griddle, if you've got a smoker, whatever the case may be, whatever equipment you have, you need something like this to help. It's going to organize your equipment, and it's going to make life a lot easier for you. I keep all my stuff in here. I've got to do a video on that and show you. I even keep filming equipment in here, just so I can do these video blogs. Alright, so we should be getting about there. I'm going to flip this again because I don't want that. Ooh, that's hot. I don't want this to get too much heat radiating through because it'll get overdone. And I don't want it overdone. I want my sear to look about like this. Here, I know it's kind of hard for you to see over there, but when I move it to the table here, you'll be able to see it good. Go ahead and butter it again. Butter it again. Butter makes steak better. Butter makes any meat better, actually, I think. You know what? Let's dump that whole pat of butter there into the, that whole pat of butter into the, what's going to be the au jus. It's going to be that dressing. Don't call it an au jus, let's call it a dressing. Because there's beef stock in there. Hey, how you doing? There's beef stock in there. There's onions. Now there's melted butter. There's spices. That's gonna be some good stuff right there. All right. Look at it. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. All right, we're gonna move this over to the cutting board. All right, don't be afraid. I'm gonna cut you off. We're pretty much done with you. Well, I can't cut you off. I've got to. I gotta keep cooking my au jus. I almost forgot about that. Gotta keep that au jus cooking. Alright, so don't be afraid of tri-tip. Tri-tips, I'm gonna show you how this grain pattern goes right here with my knife. That's the grain pattern. And we want to cross the grain, and how we want to do that, when you flip it over, you can really see it. You can really see that grain pattern. It's going from this point and kind of rocking out all the way across here. So if you cut it like this, slice it like that, you're going to be with that grain, and what that's going to look like, that's going to look like this here. And it's going to be all pulley and stretchy, and you're really going to have a hard time biting into it. However, when you cross the grain, similar to this, that makes a good cut. It's tender, it's not chewy, it's not like bubble gum. Alright, I'm giving another piece of this. It's good. So what you have is not like on a normal piece of meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that spot where I need to change the cut. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set this piece to the side. Now I can get good cross grain cuts with my good meat sword over here. And it's, you get a good small piece here, like that right there. See, that's going to pull right apart. That's this is awesome. This is amazing. So, I gotta take a minute. Hang on. That would definitely make a puppy pull a freight train. All right, so we gotta kind of serve this kind of like steak bites, and we're gonna cook it again. I'm gonna show you a piece of the way to cook this again. But for this piece, I'm just gonna cut this in small strips, small cuts, just like this. And it's, if the folks trust me, it doesn't need to be cooked anymore. This is where it's at. All those flavors are in here. It's amazing. If you want to dice these up and make a sandwich, you can do that. If you want to put these on the griddle and make like a cheesesteak, this is a good cut to do it with. You can do that with this cut. I would actually suggest not doing that, because this is a really, really good cut of meat. This is a steak. This is like a good steak. So this is a good piece to show y'all this. I'll cut one off of here. I'll save that for me for later. That's my lunch. That's my lunch for the rest of the week right there. So I'm going to take about an inch, about 3/4 to an inch. This right here. It's going to be about the size of a small fillet. It's going to be about 2.5, 3 ounces of meat. If you squeeze it, there's a little blood that comes out. See that? Hey, that's not cool. Alright, my handle's still cool enough. I'm going to throw a little butter down. Just like that. I'm going to put him on the grill. Remember, this griddle's pretty hot. Just wide open right here. Alright, all I'm doing is searing that in. I'm searing that in. If you're so inclined, you can throw a little more spice on it at this point. You don't have to, but you can. While that's cutting over there or cooking over there, I'm going to continue slicing this for serving. And I'm just doing really thin, about 1/4 inch, maybe 1/8 inch slices on this piece of meat. It's going to have a lot of similarities to brisket, if you've ever cooked a brisket. This is like poor man's brisket, basically, if there really is such a thing. But this is some good meat. I mean, this is just good quality meat. Alrighty. Come on, Frick. Come here. I'll cut this out again. Try that.
That's good.
Alright. Y'all, I can't help it. This stuff's amazing. I'm going to be picking at it the whole time I'm cooking. This is a really, really, really good meat. And even though I've stubbed my toe with the cayenne pepper a little bit, it's still good. Alright, this little medallion right here. I'm going to flip him over. Have that little sear going on right there. And listen to it sizzle, listen to it sizzle, listen to it sizzle! Man, I love it. We're just going to sear it on this side too. Woo-woo! Alright, now, let's look at it. Let's look at that. I ain't even going to let this rest too much. I'm just going to take a little piece right here. See, it's about a medium right here. It's kind of hard to see. But I guarantee you, this right here will make a puppy full of freight train. It is hot. Woo, it's hot. I can feel it through them gloves. Hands down, this is better than restaurant steak. Man, I can't get over this. This is amazing. Alright, so my dressing looks like it's about done. Yep, that dressing's about done. I'm going to put that over here. I'll kill the flame and clean the grill. Cool thing about this big hamburger spatula, we're going to use it as a grill scraper. Man, it gets the job done quick. Alright. So, what I need here, you know what? I don't even care. I really don't. Alright, so I got it 2 ways over here. I got tri-tip 2 ways over here. I got it cut into steaks and seared. And I've got it just sliced off the reverse sear of the whole piece. I'm going to take a couple of them onions, drop a little bit of this juice on it just a touch. Whoop, right there. That's a little too much, really. You know what? I'll dab that right there. And with the onion, you can't beat that. You can't beat. I'll put that up against any steak in any steakhouse across the nation. And I've eaten at some good steakhouses. But I will tell you firsthand that this is off the chain. Alright. Remember to like, subscribe, comment below. Please comment. Look in the description. Find you something on Amazon that you're going to buy anyway. Buy it from my link. Support the channel. Support me. Help me out. Tell me what to cook. Tell me what you want me to cook. Comment and tell me what you want me to cook. Thanks for your time. I hope you learned something. I hope you try this at home. Enjoy. Heavy Tea out.